How was your lunch? We're gonna dive right back into the 6 steps of consultation. So once this morning we talked a little bit about hair color and we understand the formulas and the theory. This afternoon we're gonna talk a little more about the conversation. In the chair, the most powerful tool is the conversation that you're having with your guest. If you can't communicate with your guest, you guys will not have a great end result. Has anyone ever experienced a time where they have a guest in their chair and they can't communicate with them?
Yes.
Yeah. The other day in salon, I had a guest that didn't speak English, and it was very hard to communicate, so we communicated via pictures instead to create the results she had. I had to find a different way of communication, although I couldn't communicate via words. Sometimes there's challenges in there, but as long as you have these 6 tools, they will help you get through them. So what does it mean to own something? Anything? Anybody own anything?
Yeah.
What do you own?
House.
A house. How does that feel?
Wonderful.
So it makes you feel proud, kind of. Whenever we own something, we have pride in that. So I invite you to take charge of your chair and take ownership of your chair. You might navigate people in order to make different choices, but they will ultimately feel like they are in control even though you are. So how do you demonstrate ownership in your chair?
Eye contact.
Eye contact. So letting them know that you're in control and asking open-ended questions will help you be a little more in control. What gets in the way of ownership in your chair? One big thing for me is time. I think time is something that always puts us on a time crunch. And although you might not realize it at the time, being under almost like a deadline kind of makes you nervous and rush through things. People are always in a rush anymore. And we need to slow them down, ask the right questions, still value their time, but make sure that we're going about it in an appropriate way. I think cell phones could become an easy distraction. So although it's great to talk about the coolest new app and the coolest video on YouTube, that might become a distraction, and you need to have conversations with your guests and understand a realistic desire shade. So let's dive right in. Now that we know to take ownership of our chair, we're in control of our money, and we're in control of the chair and the money that we bring in. Feeling that power is a great feeling, and sometimes it's scary when we start off in the salon, but if we reverse a little bit and take these 6 easy steps, it'll be a good backup plan for us to be able to do it. So have you guys go ahead and flip to your workbook to page 1. It has our 6 steps on there. Number 1 on there is to analyze the hair. 2 will be to determine hair color history. 3 is establish a realistic desired shade. 4 is to establish price. Ooh, scary. Discuss time frame will be number 5, and recommend products for home care is number 6. So let's talk about analyzing the hair. Currently, we have 3 main textures, which will be fine, medium, and coarse, which will be the different diameters of the hair. Fine texture is a really tiny diameter, medium is a little bigger, and coarse is the biggest. Density is going to be the amount of hairs per square inch. So a thin density means there is less hairs per square inch. Normal density will be right in the middle, and then thick density means there's lots of hairs on that square inch. A lot of times fine hair is correlated with thin, medium is correlated with normal, and coarse is correlated with thick. The more that our cultures and races are intermixing, we're going to see different types of combinations with that. You might see fine hair that is also thick and coarse hair that is also thin. So don't always just use those that they go together. They might be mixing and matching. A porosity. So porosity is going to be the hair test that we're going to go ahead and practice on each other. Porosity is the test to see. So Alicia's hair right here is going to have pretty good porosity, but she could probably withstand a little moisture in her hair. So the porosity of Alicia's hair is lacking a little bit. So she would be great for a little added moisture. Why do you think that would be important with hair color?
So they get optimal results.
Yep.
Their color doesn't fade.
Yep, so to prevent with hair fadeage, we might do a treatment on Alicia afterwards. We also might spray a little equalizing solution on her hair to even out the porosity. Another test that we see a lot is elasticity, so the strength of the hair. The strength of the hair, you could pull out one individual hair strand, pull on it. If it snaps, it has poor elasticity, and that is going to test how strong the hair is. So the hair might be lacking protein. So let's talk about determining hair color history now that we know how to determine the different types and textures of hair. So what are questions that you guys would ask your guests to determine hair color history?
When was your last hair color?
Yep, so why do you think that would be important?
To understand their color history and what they've had on their hair previously.
Okay, so if you have somebody come into your salon and they appear to have brown colored hair, but maybe 6 months prior had totally bleached it, it's important that you are asking them about what maybe color service they've had in the past. So although there might appear to be brown hair on the outside, there might be bleached hair underneath that's super damaged. So, good one.
So that would be another reason why you would want to know if they use home color, box color, or yeah, exactly, a different brand even.
So yeah, a question I like to ask is, did you color your hair at home or did you color it in a salon? A lot of times box color, we kind of have no idea what's in that. So although we can't diagnose what's the best box color out there, we might know that we're going to have to ask about metallic dyes and specific home color boxes. We also know that it is harder to lift out home color, so it's kind of a good thing to have behind our belt. One question I like to ask is, how often do you typically have your hair colored? So for pre-booking purposes, if I have somebody that comes in and they only come in every 12 weeks and they want a bleach retouch, I am probably not going to do that service or recommend maybe an alternative and get them maybe to do a highlight instead so it's not such a bad outgrowth. If the color can be obtained in one visit, so if Alicia over here decides that she wants platinum blonde hair tomorrow, we might have a little talk about it, and we might tell her that yes, you can obtain that, but probably not in one visit. You probably are going to have to come back 5 times and do deep conditioning treatments, etc., etc. One question that I think is forgot about is, have you had any chemical services? So have you had a relaxer? Have you had a perm? Anything like that can alter a hair color service as well. And then a lot of things that I've been seeing lately is, have you had any sensitivities? So have you ever had a sensitivity to hair color? That could be a little as an itch or a burn, just so you can kind of watch out for that and be on top of it instead of have to freak out later on. So let's talk about our number 3 on our workbook, so establishing a realistic shade. So what questions would you guys ask in order to come to a common ground on the shade that you guys want for your hair?
How much maintenance they are okay with?
Okay, so how much maintenance are you okay with? So are you okay with coming every 2 to 3 weeks for a retouch? Is it something that you only come every 12 weeks? What color do you see in this photo? So some people might see a bright cherry red and other people might see more of an orange red. So ask them, what do you like about this picture? Do you like the highlights? Do you like the dimension? Do you want a more subtle look? Do you want a more natural look? What do you want this to not have? What do you like about your hair color now? What do you not like about your hair color now? One thing I like to ask for reds, just as a little personal advice, is do you like your red to whisper or scream? So Whisper would mean that you want just a little hint of red, and to scream would mean you want a bright Little Mermaid red. I always like to gain agreement with my guest. So even though I think this red she's picked out might be a more violet red, if she thinks it's a red, we might talk specifically about a cherry red color that she picked out. I like to gain agreement through words and descriptors that we both can see, as in food descriptor words. So we're now going to all break and do a little activity. I put up colors throughout the room. We have warm blonde, natural blonde, ash blonde, and then the brunettes, dark browns, and reds. So we'll all get up and we will do this activity. I want you guys to write descriptor words and maybe celebrities that make you think of that hair color. So, activity time, yay! And then we're going to go to number 4. So they did the activity and came and sat back down. Number 4 is going to be the scary part. So now that we can all have lots of descriptor words to describe the hair color that our guest wants, and we've created a little portfolio in our workbooks, now we're going to talk about price, which is something that everybody fears. You need to value your time and value what you're doing, because you never know what guests might know each other. So I can't cut Alicia a deal if I'm not going to cut Shelby one, because they might talk about pricing and might be getting the same service, and it doesn't do you just. Value what you do behind the chair and make sure that you charge for each individual service that you're doing. You never want to sell yourself short, and you never know what people are willing to spend. So give them 3 different price points. Give them an advanced, a medium, and a to get by to the next time price. So the advanced might include the treatments, the medium might include a variation of that, and then the to get by might be just a retouch into the next time when I can have more time or money in order to do so. Number 5 in our workbook, does anybody see that?
Discuss time frame.
So discussing a time frame. I might have to discuss a time frame on what I'm available in the salon, and I might also have to discuss what my client's available. If my client doesn't know that her hair color is going to take 4 hours today, I think that you're not allowing them to make the decision. So if I know that the hair color is going to take 4 hours today, I need to tell you. If they're not okay with that, they might make time the next time. When people sit down in my chair, I always ask, is there a time frame that you need to be gone by? And if they say yes, I say, when would that be? After that, I go ahead and let them know about the approximate time they'll be gone. If they need to come back, it's better to have them come back and be happy with their service than to try to rush the service along. And then number 6.
Recommend products for home maintenance.
So recommending products for home maintenance is super important. I think it's important to talk about in the consultation. If you're not telling your guests up front that they're needing to leave with a hair color, shampoo, and conditioner, they might not know that that is not included in the price in the long run. They might not know they need the special color conserve shampoo and conditioner to maintain their color. I think those are the 2 most important things to talk about with home care. You can show them products right off the bat, but you can also show them throughout their service. So in order to maintain the red, if they need to take home the Matter Root conditioner, then I would let them know that right away. Has anybody had a time where they've went ahead and priced the services together, where you are pricing the hair color, the treatment, and the color conserve shampoo and conditioner all as a package?
I'm not.
I think that's a great way to do that, especially with like a first time guest where they might not know that you price those out separately and price them as a package. You can talk to your boss about maybe for a first time guest giving them a complimentary treatment in order to prolong their color and to gain that guest loyalty. So to wrap up what we've talked about this morning, we have our 6 steps. Shelby, can I have you read those out of your books?
Analyze hair. 2, determine hair color history. 3, establish a realistic desired shade. 4, establish price. 5, discuss time frame. 6, recommend products for home maintenance.
Yep, so I think today we've talked about the 6 most essential parts of a consultation. As we wrap up consultation, I always like to reiterate that we need to pre-book our guests. Pre-booking is generating money on your books and knowing what's going to be happening in the next few weeks. So I want you guys to look at the Own It circle in your workbooks, and I want you guys to circle where you feel you're at today and which one that you guys need to work on the most. When I first filled this out, I would say my one that I needed to work on the most was establishing price. So I think it's great to come up with an action plan in order to know what you need to go back into your salon and actually work on. These classes take time and money out of our day because we're not booking clients, so please take a little of this class home with you that you're actually going to work on in salon. So thank you guys so much for coming, and enjoy your day.
Yay!